Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, and coming in about 7,175 pounds as we see it here today. Keep in mind though, this was a customer-specific ordered unit, a personal build for one of our clients. So what we might have in stock or what else we could get for you could be very different, although of course we could get one put together just like this. That being said, I do like how they outfitted this one. I think they did it well. A 2706 WS Rockwood Super Slide Bunkhouse. And I'm glad that we got this in here because so much of what you see from Rockwood is their couples campers. And don't get me wrong, I think that's fitting. Rockwood, I have long associated with like retirement grade. So if it's just you solo or a couple of you and you're looking to make it your last RV ever, Rockwood's definitely a brand that should be on your list. But if you think about it, if you're looking for something, really well built that you can use for a number of years while the kids beat around inside that and you don't want it to look beat up when you're done, a really well-crafted brand like Rockwood's a good fit for that. And they just kill their bunk models. All those fancy features that you love on the rest of Rockwood still apply here. And this thing has a huge front storage compartment. It has pretty good travel access, although you do have to go out through the door to get there. It is a short queen. It is true queen capable. I will always do my best to try to be fair and shoot you straight on things like that. I'll give you more details on all that stuff in here, like the solar package. And I think you are going to like what you see. I tell you what, they have made some improvements since the last time I saw one of these, and color me impressed. Now, I have recorded thousands of RV walkthroughs and video tours over my career, quite literally. I think we've got a catalog of over 6,000 videos on YouTube now. I tend to, as a result, kind of develop a little bit of a habit. I always record this one from the opposite direction. I'm going to shake things up today. We'll see how it goes. Maybe this will end up blowing up in my face. So standing back here, it has a nice, big, wide open feel, and there's a couple reasons for it. This has been outfitted with the Newport Ash lighter color wood tone, but I think very intelligently, considering this is a bunkhouse model, they paired that up with the darker chocolate fabric. So it has a nice light look about it, but where you're going to see the greatest amount of people sliding in and out and kids with their dirty, as my dad would say, get your dirty booger picking fingers off my couch. I never picked my boogers, but he always called them that. It always made me self-conscious. I think that's a smart color combo in here, but there is a darker wood tone. There is a lighter fabric palette. This does also have a vaulted ceiling. It's got a 6.5-foot sidewall, but then it has about a 2.5-inch vault, which that little bit just kind of opens things up, plus the really aggressive lighting package that Rockwood uses. Lightens and brightens it up here big time. Larger 15,000 BTU air is available up there. And notice how that TV can pivot around for some easy viewing. Another thing that's easy to miss is the entertainment system on this is still DVD. Now, it's Bluetooth, it's HDMI. But if you are, in an area where you don't have good antenna reception, or because this RV has a Wi-Fi ranger, it has its own built-in kind of router data connectivity point. Sometimes it is nice just to have a couple old discs on standby for those sort of days. Now, over here, standard would be a tri-fold hide-to-bed sleeper sofa. I like how the folks did this. I'm always open to feedback. Do you like the idea of a tri-fold in a family model like this that already has a couple bunks and a giant U-dinette that we'll see folded down in a minute? I like this theater seat straight across from the entertainment, and especially Rockwood's. My personal assessment, all the different brands we carry, Rockwood has, I think, the best theater seat in this class out there. Now, not for just it's a wall hugger. They're almost all of them are that. Not all of them, though, strangely. But it's the extras they do, like the little storage here in the armrest, like the center console power outlets that you're looking at right there. It's those kind of extra little details Rockwood does. They're like nobody else does. There's household outlets in there. There's USB plugs. You could keep a phone charging cable in there and just kind of snake it out when you need it. It's little stuff, but it's awesome. Now, speaking of phone charging, actually, the little spotlights above, those also have USB plugs. And all of the USB plugs in this camper, with the exception of the two in the chair, they are also 12-volt powered. The one in the chair, it actually does need to go through 110. It might be plugged into one of the inverter plugs. I'm not 100% certain on that. I need to kind of check that out a little bit. You see here, you've got those like blackout roller shades. And once again, easy viewing entertainment. Whether you are at the dinette like we saw earlier, or if you're here at the sofa straight across from it. I'm going to put you this is the point of view you're going to have when you're in the sofa space. It's not too bad over here. And I like how everything is kind of close together, but Close together but spacious. Does that make any sense? I don't think it does. I don't know. Got a little electric space heating Tootsie toaster down there to take the nip out of the air a little bit. Over here, it has one of my favorite features, and that is just an open air ladder wall. The ladder is actually helping support this upper bunk right here, but notice how it is very minimalist. It makes the whole room look and feel a little bit bigger, I think, and that is actually pretty decently barefoot friendly as compared to a lot of things manufacturers put out. Now, that's not a removable ladder. Like a lot of times you see a metal tubular steel ladder, it pops off there. This is mounted in place. You don't have to worry about it. It's very, very sturdy and stable. We will see this again from the outside, but this does have a fold-up cargo bunk. It's only a half-size door. I'm going to talk a little bit about that when we go outside and kind of what my preferences would be. But as long as we're here talking about the bunks, little details again. You've got the separate curtains for the upper and lower bunk. And one of the other options that's available on these is in the bathroom, you'll see one of these big XL vent fans. But you can option extra vent fans like that here in the living room as well as in the bedroom. And you will see that's what the owners of this specific RV did. Now, one of the things that's nice about this model, you saw where the entry door is located next to these bunks. It's also right next to the bathroom. And it's all carpetless on the way through, so there is no, you're not like tracking a lot of dirt through the RV if the kids are coming and going all day. Now, that vaulted ceiling is a really big factor for me. I like that because that means that I can stand in this shower very easily. Being able to stand in the shower is not necessarily a deal breaker for me, but everybody varies a little bit. So I'm about 6'3" for reference when you're looking at that. Nice little place there, by the way, to keep some of your toiletries. That can be removed for cleaning. And you'll see that this does have the AquaView shower miser. So if you are going to do some boondock dry camping, while you're showering, you're not just pumping wasted water into your gray tank and out of your fresh tank, which is very limited. It actually just recycles back into the fresh tank. You don't really want to use that when you're park camping, though, because you could accidentally flood your fresh tank. Porcelain foot flush stool, and I tell you, that is fluffy friendly. They put plenty of like leg, hip, and shoulder room around that. You can get around that, I think, just fine and easy. Good counter space there. Like the little extra shelf. Just all those little Rockwood doing Rockwood things, as I like to say it. Now, as we're spinning ourselves around, I'm trying to move slowly so I don't make you motion sick. I do want to point out the fact, though, if you look back at that air conditioning system, notice how there's two sets of AC ducts? Rockwood does a double ducting system to really maximize the airflow through here. Now, this big super slide giving us lots of space on those rainy days. And really, what I think is nice about this one, I think that this is a great model, maybe for grandparents who are looking for bunks for grandkids. Grandkids don't tend to come along very often, most of the time. Sometimes they do. It just depends on the family. But if they do, or if they don't, rather, you've got yourself a great kitchen, great living room, great storage space. And like you saw there, that dinette can fold down into a huge dinette. That is what I call a true U dinette. Rockwood has that listed as, I think, 44 inches deep and 81 inches long in sleeper mode. That's like 81 inches. That's 6'9". I mean, adults could sleep on that and not be kicking the walls. That is awesome. What is also awesome in here, this thing has awesome storage. Starting right down below here, you see they give you drawers so you don't have to tear apart the dinette. What's kind of nice is if you do need to get to that rear bench, the table can totally move out of the way. You could take it outside for picnic time. Obviously, it folds down into the sleeper, but you don't even have to do that. They also give you outside access to that rear bench storage space. They're always doing more. That's just Rockwood. Their microwaves are a little bit bigger than almost anything in this class. It's 1.3 cubic feet versus 0.9 cubic feet. Doesn't sound like much, but a normal household dinner plate can actually fit into there. And look at that. Countertop to cabinet bottom, actual backsplash, solid surface counters with a large removable extension. Otherwise, if they didn't have that, you'd have, it's a bunk model. You got to feed a lot of people. There'd be some limited counter space in here. And that needs to be removable so it doesn't get crushed when the slide out closes. Now, you can leave it there. You could take it off. I think Rockwood didn't want to put it on a swing down bracket like some of their models because they had to put the drawers down there. And the swing down bracket would eliminate and limit some of their storage. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think they did it the right way, giving you the most counter space and drawer space? Or would you prefer a slightly smaller fold down counter extension and maybe one less drawer? I like what they did here. I get that it's removable, but I like that it's bigger when I get there. Speaking of bigger, How about an oven you can actually cook in? 22-inch oven versus those little 16s that are maybe good for biscuits and cookies, which, don't get me wrong, I like biscuits and cookies. Wastebasket space over here. And this was outfitted, upgraded from the standard 8 cubic foot two-way fridge to the larger 10.7 cubic foot DC compressor fridge. These cool about 4 times faster. They're super travel safe because there's no flame or anything like that. And normally you don't see all this little loose stuff like, hey, what's for dinner? A tire pressure monitor, Mom. But this tends to be where the factory ships a lot of their loose little stuff like that. Now, that's not all the storage, though. There's a little pocket of storage here on the entertainment center, and it's funny. This model has changed a little bit since I was in it last time. I had a heck of a time finding the command panel. Turns out it's just down under here. But a couple neat notes on this. You can just walk in, and I like, by the way, it's just the little kids don't see it. It tends to be out of sight, out of mind. But when you need it, it's just a button. You can just walk in and boop, turn all the lights on, turn all the lights off. But if you want to, you can hook your phone up to that with the LCI One Control app for free, by the way. And awnings, lights, slides, things like that, you can operate right from your phone. But this thing has an amazing pantry-tainment center because behind this is a walk-in closet and big mega pantry with motion-activated lighting up top, kind of like your refrigerator. It'll turn on when you need it. It'll turn off when you don't. You could throw some shoes in here at the bottom. This could be a shoe garage, coat hangers. You could turn it into clothing closet dresser space for the bunks. I mean, sky's the limit. It's just a matter of what you want to do with it. There's just a lot of storage going on here. We're not even up to the bedroom yet, which has its own closet slide. And getting all that stuff out of our face, I thought I'd also give you a quick look without the countertop extension in there and kind of, to, again, refer back to the question I asked earlier about it. I think the bigger counter extension here is nice because if you're using the sink and the stove, you are limited on counter space. But one of the things I want to point out here is that you see this easy reach outlet? If you get one of these with an inverter, basically if it has the solar package, it has a 1,000-watt inverter. You see that little sticker at the bottom, it says inverter circuit. There are multiple outlets through this RV that are pre-wired to that inverter, including both sets of outlets on either side of the bed. So if you're a CPAP user and you need to stop overnight, or if you're boondocking, or if you got to run a fan or a light or something like that, you don't necessarily have to have park power. Understand, inverters by nature will tax your batteries harder, and a 190-watt solar package is not going to be capable of running the 12-volt fridge and all the lights and all the fans and everything all the time indefinitely. You're going to need some extra supplements there. That 190-watt package is designed to help extend your time with that 12-volt fridge. If you're real serious about boondocking with a 12-volt fridge, you're going to need things like extra panels, maybe a small generator to keep batteries topped off. I just want to be straight with that. I don't want people smoke screening thinking you can run everything off this panel. You can't. Another thing I don't want to smoke screen people on, and the reason I paused on this bed for so long, is this is a Camp Queen. And I know that's a really hot button item with some people. And I hope you appreciate that I go out of my way to point that out to you. Something a lot of people will consider a negative. I want you to be aware of. Now you notice all the room at the foot of the bed. If you wanted to, you could go True Queen there. So the question is, why isn't Rockwood doing that? And I think the answer there is because this model existed before the market was really borderline demanding True Queen beds. Like I said, there is just enough room you could upgrade to a True Queen in here. You're going to be doing the butt scoop boogie against this wall over here. You could make that happen if you wanted to, though. But I'm always curious to know, like, is that a deal breaker factor for you? Or is it something you could manage? Let me know. Now, I said we'd get up to the bedroom storage. This is where it's going to start. Rockwood has a very cool kind of storage chest with an easy lift aluminum frame bed down here, and then some dresser drawers down below. And I love the fact this used to have 3 drawers. I do think it is smart they sacrificed one of them for that heat vent right there. It's just because it's in a high traffic area. It's an area that you can't help but step on. So I'm glad it's not a floor vent right there. That's actually another thing I'd be curious about feedback on. This RV also has floor vents in the living room. Again, that's something I know a lot of people are not really keen on. This is a floor plan that once again existed before having ventless flooring was something the market was really demanding. So is that a deal breaker factor for you? Understanding that floor vented heating is more effective at keeping the coach warm, it heats more evenly, but it does mean there's little vents in the floor. I think that you could maybe throw some floor rugs in there, but I know that a lot of people don't necessarily want to camp like that. And again, I'm not trying at all to bash any manufacturer, because again, there's redeeming value in what Rockwood has done here. I'm just kind of curious. And if that is a problem for you, take a look at a 287 BHDS Freedom Express here at Haylett RV. It has a true queen bed. It has carpetless slides. It has ventless flooring. But it doesn't have some of the things this Rockwood has, like that big vent fan we looked at a second ago, too. So, you know, they're both cool for different reasons. Now, a quick look here with the slide closed. At a glance, you say, oh man, if I'm up here in this bedroom, I'm kind of landlocked. I can't really get through anything. Well, remember, this has that direct entry bedroom door, which you can deadbolt for security. So if you don't want, you know, people walking in on you, you can just straight lock that door down. And on the way through, we're going to meet Mr. Jody Van Loo. Some of you folks from the past might remember Mr. Jody is one of our quality control agents. We're actually making sure that everything is right and tight on the up and up before we actually even, you know, accept the trailer off of the truck from the factory. Thank you, Mr. Jody, for what you do. Now, as we come in here, thankfully, with that dual entry door, we do maintain, I think, really good traveling access, because we can walk through here. We can, we can get to the refrigerator. We can get to the majority of the kitchen. They left enough room down here that you cannot fully open those drawers, but I do think you can open them enough that you can probably still get to pretty much anything you need to. By the way, you might have noticed how that dining table was folded down. When you're traveling, you want that table in the down position so it doesn't wiggle jiggle and bang around quite so much. Remember, you know, hook, bang-a-rang. Well, you don't want things bang-a-ranging around in your RV in transit. Now, we saw this in the up cargo mode, but here's the, you know, obviously other function of this in the down sleeper position, just to, you know, complete the visual. And once again, Rockwood always going a little bit step above nice, big, thicker mattresses. And when I first walked in and I saw this, I went, oh, crap. The slide's going to be too close to the bathroom door. It's not going to open. And then I went, wait a minute. Look at those hinges. Look at the handle. You can open this and you can still get through here. It's a little tighter than when the door's wide open, but you can do it. And it occurred to me that the two dumbest things I do in my life is question my wife and then question Rockwood, because they both seem to prove me wrong every time. Now remember, the one that we're looking at today has the standard kind of champagne skin with those nice mocha accent colors, especially on that painted nose cap. But notice that that's a nose cap with a stone guard down below. Now that front window is actually a windshield. It's a thicker, higher grade of glass. It actually is a dual pane windshield. It's very automotive, essentially, in nature and installation. Power corner stabilizer jacks doing kind of the cranking work for us. You'll see dual power awnings on this thing. I literally almost just tripped over my feet just now. That would have been a hilarious little outtake. Also power tongue jack. Everything on this is just power. It's simple. You notice the 30-pound propane tanks. Rockwood and Jayco both do that quite a bit. Most manufacturers I've noticed have scaled down to 20-pound tanks. You know, I didn't trip over my feet, but I did literally just run right into the back of a Wildwood behind me because, you know, I don't have eyes in the back of my head. That hurt. About knocked the wind right out of me. Optional slide awnings put on here, and I tell you, if this is something you're interested in, Rockwood does them so cheap. We cannot hope to do them for the cost of what Rockwood does. We can get these things installed from Rockwood for less than the cost that we can just get the parts at Haylett RV. I don't even know how they do it so cheap. They just have to have some insane massive volume buying power. And this is actually old school classic Forest River stuff that Rockwood is one of the few brands to still do, and that is give you an access door to like storage right off the face of the slide. You can see that goes behind that U-dinette there, so you don't constantly have to tear apart the dinette to get to any of that stuff. Now down below here, you will see that this does have an enclosed underbelly, and all Rockwood travel trailers and fifth wheels now have two things that they didn't always used to have. They all now have the 12-volt tank heating pads that are thermostatically controlled. Also lost my balance. I'm struggling today, guys. Now also, look at this underbelly skin. You see how it almost looks like bubble wrap? That is not just a common corrugated material, it is actually like a little miniature thermal pocketed belly just to help give you that little bit of extra seasonal protection. Now jumping on the other side of that slide out, you see an all kind of centralized hookup station. Everything really feels like it's in the proper location. That to me is the most logical place to put things. And you notice the slide side breeze windows, and those are laminated slide end walls. Kind of a misconception in the RV industry is that laminated slide end walls are guaranteed stronger. No, not necessarily. A non-laminated slide wall can be plenty strong. It's just that a laminated slide wall is very consistent. And if you can walk up and thump on that, do a UFC hammer fist on that thing, although, you don't want to go too nuts there. If you're Chuck Liddell, you'd probably put your hand right through it. Man, Chuck Liddell was my favorite fighter for a long time. A lot of people are always surprised, I'm such a nerd that I really enjoyed the UFC for a long time. Now there's so many fighters in and out. Wow, I'm way off topic. I'm I'm so sorry. You've got a 300-pound accessory hitch on the back here on a bunk model. Awesome for like bike racks. But you could also use a small generator tray. You see the spare tire actually has a hard shell enclosure on it, which is very cool. And something that is not well documented out there is that the rear wall of this RV, just the rear wall though, is actually double Asdel. So you're going, why not the rest of the camper? And in Rockwood's own words, the answer is strength. Asdel's an awesome material. Asdel itself is waterproof, mold-proof, mildew-proof. It's a resin. It's primarily melted pop bottles. It's a recycled green material. It's great. It has a little bit better, like R value quality, thermal type quality, noise reduction. It's got a lot of tertiary supplemental benefits, but it is not quite as strong as Luan wallboard. It doesn't have as much screw retention, and on a longer trailer like this, Rockwood was uncomfortable going to the double Asdel walls like they use in the GeoPros and the Ruse and the Mini Lites. And again, that's not my opinion. That's straight from Rockwood. That does corroborate information we've put out at Haylet RV, but that's the what and that's the why. And if you appreciate extra little details like that, hit that subscribe button, because we are always trying to do everything we can, because we can't show you always under the skin, but at least explain what they're doing and why. Because in typical Rockwood form, they're always doing +1 more than everybody else. In this case, that literally means +1 awning. We will get to all that awning space in just a second. But back here, one of the more recent updates on this floor plan is that they have given it like a half cargo bunk area. Remember, that bunk can flip up for cargo loading. It's interesting to me that Rockwood only did a half door for loading here. Again, if I'm just being picky, I would have preferred to see a taller door, but I'm guessing that between the ladder, the tire, all that stuff, they had difficulty finding a door that was going to open enough to be functional, so they did the best that they could with the space they had allotted. That's kind of the trick sometimes. If you want to jam a whole bunch of features into one thing, it all eats up a lot of space. And check out the patio awning space on this. If I take a knee and get down here, man, you've got the double awning space, each operating independently, so you can kind of tilt. What's kind of cool here too, these are easy tilt awning arms. The weather's been so crappy, I haven't been able to really showcase this. So what you can do with just 2 fingers, you can tilt that awning down, and then the very far awning arm on the front awning, you could do the same. And it'll actually give you like a little vaulted awning space right here. And on a rainy day, get you some nice runoff going away from your campsite. Now the trick with dual awnings, and again, I'll always be fair, always shoot you straight, you're always going to have a little bit of a gap between the 2 awnings. It's just unavoidable, but overall you're getting far more shaded patio space as a result. They're a low profile camp kitchen here, always very, very well done. You got Dad's medicine cabinet for the bottled water and the barley pop over there. We have a pull-out cooktop here and a galvanized rolled steel drawer, but what's kind of cool, it slides out of the way and it uses up very little space. And what you don't see is that there's a gas strut equipped in on that, so that if you bump it, it doesn't just go flying shut. You have to very intentionally open or close that. Now, I want to get that out of the way so we could really look at that cargo space. That is a motion activated light. You can have it set to on, off, or motion mode, and that's power outlet back here. That is hooked up to the inverter. So if you are looking at a 2706 Rockwood here at Haylet's that has the inverter wired into it, then potentially you could be outside when you're boondocking and power up some like some bubble machines for the kids, just little entertainment stuff like that. Now also, I want to take note, not just dual power awnings, but dual fully dressed entry doors. Now the front door is not quite as wide, just because of the restraints of the floor plan. They didn't want the front door to fight with that awning arm, but the back door is a wider 30-inch door. They're both anti-slam. They both have the larger handles, and they both have the zero gravity stable steps with the quick and easy adjust feet. That is textbook Rockwood doing Rockwood things right there. That is why I have belovedly started referring to them, belovedly, I don't know, you know what I mean, referring to them as the hold my beers of RV designers, because they're always just like, watch me, I'm going to do more than everybody else. 87 mile an hour rated, American made Goodyear endurance radials, with factory tire pressure monitoring system already equipped on these. The sensor's actually in the tire, so you just put a handheld monitor in your vehicle that is included, and there you go. Your co-pilot can keep an eye on that, so you can keep your eyes on the road. Outside TV hookup station here, and that's what's kind of cool. This is our come and go and outside kitchen space, whereas this is like our shady or drizzly rainy day little entertainment space over here. And I mean, in a sense, you kind of have dual kitchens, because up front here you have this little utility shelf and griddle system included with this, which means there is a propane quick connect back there as well as up here. So it's a dual quick connect system, double the cooker hookers basically. Oh yeah, on the Rockwood Ultralites, you get a drop frame front storage compartment. So like a fifth wheel, the chassis actually drops down to create this just cavernous front compartment here. You can see that welded aluminum structure Rockwood puts into everything. I think we talked about that on the dinettes, but we've talked about so much I'm having trouble. But then there's just the little cleanliness touches. Rockwood puts magnet catches on this forward wall for like your jack cranks and stuff like that. Who does that? Rockwood. That's who. And that box over there, by the way, that is the inverter that comes again with either the fridge or the standalone solar inverter package. Man, whew, we've covered a lot, but we still got to get up on the roof. But real quick, something I noticed here as I was putting stuff away, I was like, okay, where am I going to store the griddle? We have that huge front pass-through compartment, but I looked up here and I realized this outside kitchen has that big open pocket. And even though the griddle is still in the box, which means that's bigger than it will actually take up in terms of space, the griddle, the bracket, the little side utility shelf table, all of that stores in here very nicely. It's nice that all the kitchen stuff is just kind of self-storing in one location. Now with all the different brands that we carry at Haylet RV, I'm on top of a lot of roofing all the time. And there's just something about Rockwood's laminated roofing. Rockwood and Cougars, I don't know why, they have the most sturdy, solid feeling underfoot of any brand I've seen. Now Rockwood also is very aggressive about their sealants, and you will see that anywhere on a Rockwood where you get a like roof vent fan, you never get that cheap little 4-inch blade fan. You always get the big Max Air official XL fan. Now, this RV has been outfitted with a few extra optional fans. Normally, you get just one in the bathroom. You can see where the other Max Air covers are located in the living room and in the bedroom areas. Those are optional. You can order from the factory kind of a la carte in addition. And then once again, there's two different ways to get that 190-watt Overlander Go Power solar package. It comes automagically with the 12-volt refrigerator option, or you can stick with the gas-electric fridge and get the solar package and inverter for some really sweet off-grid use. Rockwood does also offer a second 190-watt solar package from the factory, kind of like those extra Max Air vent fans you can add. But what's cool is their charge controller is always able to just simply accept a second one of those panels. So you can get it from the factory, you can get it aftermarket, and a very cool thing about that Overlander package is it is basically the largest solar panel that can still ship via UPS before it becomes freight. And folks, that will save you the cost. That's like $50 shipping instead of $500 shipping. I used to work in logistics. That's no joke. So I'm gonna rate this one N for nerd preferred. It is that is a good family camping couples model right there. Certainly not the least expensive bunkhouse option you could get, but again, if you're looking for that longer term use and ownership with a higher resale value when you're done, that's Rockwood. That's Rockwood all day long right there. Now we've tried to give you the highs, the potential lows, the points of consideration. Like, admittedly, I would massively prefer to see this with no carpet in the slide out. And I would love some of your feedback. Like, let me know the things you like, the things you'd like to change, or any questions, anything that I haven't answered for you. I count on my fingers a lot, don't I? I've kind of become aware of that recently. That seems to be one of the things I've started doing for some reason, but neither here nor there. If you appreciate the information we've given you here today, click the like button on the video, hit that subscribe button because we've always got new content coming out, usually 1 or 2 or 3 videos every single day. We've always got stuff for you to pick up on. And short of that, we are family owned and operated, and just like these folks did, we would love the opportunity to put a personal build together for you and get you camping when you're ready. When you're ready. We don't do hidden dealer fees. We're easy to work with. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy Halet camping, everyone.